Amanda, the Buzzed Coach, and I help women to lose weight and to live their best life. It took me years to love my body and myself for who I am. Big butt, curves, and all. But living a healthy lifestyle isn't the easiest thing. I just want to sit down and eat. And everybody was just so serious. So I decided to create this channel to share my fitness tips, nutrition strategies, mindset positivity, and helpful productivity tools that help you grow and develop yourself into the best person you can possibly be. All done with a twist of comedy. I'm so shook. And I know living a healthy lifestyle isn't the easiest thing, but if we can learn to laugh during the hard times and push on through together, we can accomplish anything. This is real, baby. And we can make healthy changes that will last forever. So be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to this channel, and get ready to live your happiest, healthiest life. Let's do this.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the SPADE Life Podcast. I am here with a very special guest. If you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda Rinaldi.
Hi, Amanda. What is your channel?
My channel is the Buzzed Coach on YouTube. I can't even remember when I started that channel. I think it was back in like 2012. So it's been kind of an old channel for quite some time.
Now, since 2012, have you been pumping out videos since then, or have you had like a brief stop? Or
Yeah, so what basically happened was I gotten like a new Gmail account, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna upload some videos. I think I made something for like a class of mine when I was in college, and I just needed somewhere to put a video. So I started just, putting one or two videos onto that new YouTube channel that I made with that new Gmail account. And then every once in a while I'd think of something funny to put together. And I, sometimes would send videos to my boyfriend at the time that were funny compilations, and eventually I would put them on YouTube. And then I think about 2014 or so was when I kind of took a break. I kind of forgot about YouTube for a very long time, actually. And back in, so basically 2017, so August of 2017 was when I decided to really take advantage of the great, I guess, vast world that is YouTube. So that's kind of when I started becoming a lot more consistent, trying to pump out at least one video a week.
So is that your schedule now? You pump out one video a week?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So
and it's been working out quite well, actually.
What kind of channel, per se, would you say that you are?
So the Buzzed Coach channel is more of like a lifestyle, health and fitness and mental wellness website, like YouTube channel. Originally, I came up with the name because I have some like alopecia issues, so I have hair loss, and I've always had this crippling kind of I guess sadness and fear and anxiety about not feeling like a complete woman or not feeling beautiful. So I decided to really take that message to heart and to face my fears. I buzzed my entire hair off just so I could look at myself in the mirror and actually see my bald spots and learn to love them for what they are. And over time, I realized that having a good head of hair is not just, ointments. It's about living a lifestyle that is very healthy, trying to be in a good mindset, having less stress, eating well. So over time, I just started to adopt these lifestyle habits that I then wanted to share with others who were struggling with their own insecurities, especially for women who just feel like they're not worthy enough, they're not good enough for things that they want in their life, health-wise. So I kind of decided, this channel is going to be dedicated to that.
Now, how I found you, you also do skits.
I do. I do.
And the skit I saw, which I found hilarious, was you survived a 30-day.
Oh, the I Survived Whole 30
Yeah.
mockumentary.
Yeah.
Yep. So the one thing that I want to bring to my channel is, I like to be very motivational, but I also am a very awkwardly funny person. At least I think so. So I like to bring a lot of comedy into what I do. It's how I best respond to things, and I feel like that's how I can relate to people. In my normal life, I love to joke around. I love to bring a lot of light and laughter to conversation. So I decided, why not, put spins on everyday lifestyle things that, we are all doing. Whole30 is a diet that I had tried out, and I'll be honest with you, when I first started doing this Whole30 experience, which, are you familiar with the Whole30 diet, sort of?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Thank goodness you haven't. It's a monster, but basically, it's a elimination diet where for 30 days you are eliminating inflammatory foods like dairy, grains, sugar, alcohol, and you stay off of that for 30 days, and then once 30 days are over, you can slowly reintroduce those food groups back in, and you see how your body reacts to it. So the first time that I did Whole30, there were a lot of things that were going on in my mind. You start to get, withdrawal symptoms of, sugar, and you don't become a very nice person when that happens. You're going through all this strife, and I sort of saw that online with other people and their experience with this, but they all were kind of being like, oh, it's great, you'll feel amazing afterwards, it's amazing, da-da-da. They're being like super, super, super positive to the point where I thought something was wrong with me because I wasn't enjoying the process. So I decided, well, if I make this mockumentary, I really want to show both the ugly and the good sides. I want to make, kind of play on that a little bit, still make it inspirational, but I would like to get giggles out of it and people to say, oh my gosh, me too. That happened to me too. I felt exactly what you're feeling. So that's kind of like, I guess that whole premise behind that mockumentary was to get that like, haha, I totally understand what you mean kind of reaction.
So about how long did that take you to like actually film, since you are playing technically two different characters throughout the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
How long did that take you?
Okay, so from conception to editing, so I usually like to script out what it is that I do. When it comes to characters, what I need to say. I tend to ramble sometimes, so I like to be succinct when it comes to filming. So to actually do the writing, the first draft took me about 2 days to put together. The second draft I ran through with my husband. He is actually one of my biggest editors, I guess. I always run through my scripts with him, and he kind of is my check and balance, just to make sure that, I'm not like going way too far or whatever. So that took another couple days. And then once I had all that pre-work done, to film everything probably took me 2 hours from start to finish just to film. And to switch between characters, what I would do is I would focus on one character, have them do all their lines using 2 cameras, and then I would switch to the next costume, do all my lines with that character, and then repeat for the third character, and so on and so forth. And so by the time I was done, but editing took me maybe about like a day and a half to 2 days to put that all together. So I would probably say like a week and 2 days. It was the amount of time it took me from conception to final editing and putting it on YouTube.
That's not too bad. When I've done skits before, when I've had multiple characters, I've done it both ways. Well, the first time I did it, I was trying to like film both characters like simultaneously. Like I'll do one, then I'll hurry up and switch and try and do the other one. And I found that very exhausting.
Yes, it is.
I was like, why am I doing it this way? I can just edit it all together.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. It's the magic of filmmaking. You find all these like little shortcuts to help you not lose your mind.
Yeah, I felt really dumb once I actually thought of the right way to do it. I was like, what?
Well, to be honest with you, that's kind of how I used to do it back in the day when I was, just doing random little dumb skits here and there. It would take me weeks to finally get it finished. But yeah, it's so much easier when you do have some sort of like script in front of you. It does help you, cut your time in half and understand, okay, I need this, 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 and this. Get it one fell swoop and we're good. I found that really was helpful for me.
So do you find that your channel is growing now, and when did you see it start growing?
I definitely do see it growing at a much faster rate than what I thought was possible or what was due for it, I guess. I told you I had a hiatus for a while with the channel, so back when I first started, putzing around back in 2012, I maybe had like 3 subscribers, and then when I started to really take it seriously in August, I probably had 6 at the time. So, in the span of 5 years, I maybe gained 4 subscribers, with just me putzing around. But once August hit, I, was doing it very consistently, and I wasn't seeing anything happening up until, I want to say, October was when I started to see more and more growth. A lot more people started to subscribe. A lot more traction was starting to happen for the channel. And then by the time, I think about a month ago at this point, I started to see, it used to be 10 subscribers a month. Now it's probably 10 subscribers a day. So it's starting to really, really pick up, which, I mean, I'm kind of beyond words, baffled at how fast it's starting to grow. So I recently just hit 500 subscribers 2 days ago. So I'm kind of like at that point where I feel like I'm dreaming. This can't possibly be happening to me, just to see something growing and so many people really having fun with this. So it's very, very hopeful for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, you hit 500 2 days ago. You're already at 228 right now. 528 right now.
Yeah, I count my blessings every day. Absolutely just astonished.
So, do you have any like special promotioning that you do, or?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, AJ. That took me a while to figure out because I just wasn't sure. I didn't want to bother my friends and family about dumb videos that I make on YouTube. So what I found that was very helpful for me. I already had a website that was dedicated to my brand, The Buzz Coach. So what I started doing was writing blog posts that would supplement the videos that I would be making. So basically I'd write a description for the video, and I would use that same description on my YouTube video, and I would transpose that to my blog post. And then I would use that to email it to my mailing list. So I can get my private viewerships there for people that previously opt in for my freebies and whatnot. And what I also started doing as well, there are some really great Facebook groups out there that are awesome in terms of networking, seeing who's who in the zoo, other small YouTube creators. Up until, I want to say, about 6 months ago, I really didn't know any other small YouTubers. I didn't know where they were and what they did. I just, all I was aware of was the big YouTubers, and I just kept racking my brain. How the heck do these guys grow this big? So I started learning collaboration and seeing communities and finding them and being with them and sharing our videos and our ideas is really where I started to see a lot of growth for myself. So that was probably one of my most helpful discoveries on my end, for sure.
Well, Right now, I'm trying to collect all the small YouTubers into a little group, and I'm gonna make like the Super Friends, and then
Ooh,
we're
that
gonna
sounds awesome.
we're gonna take over YouTube and knock down
Yes.
all the big YouTubers, and we're gonna become the big YouTubers.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Sign me up. I want to knock those walls down. Let's do it.
That's what this whole podcast is. It's just me recruiting people.
Yes, the secret army. I'm all for that.
We are the secret YouTube army.
Absolutely. Actually, I have a question for you, AJ, if you don't mind me turning the interview around to you.
Sure, it's happened before.
Oh, okay, cool. So how long have you been YouTubing for, and I guess what inspired you to want to start, doing these kind of efforts to collaborate and such?
I've been doing YouTube for about 2.5 years now. I have my main channel,
okay,
where I do like skits and vlogs and gaming and a bunch of other random stuff that I can think of.
Gotcha.
And like, I don't know, like 3 months ago, I was trying to think, like, I'm on all these groups and stuff, and I see all these people posting their videos, and not a lot of people really pay attention to us small YouTubers.
Right.
And also, sometimes it's just hard to find small YouTubers on YouTube when, like, you're searching.
Right, absolutely.
So I was like, I don't know what made me think of podcasts, but for some reason I thought of podcasts, and I'm like, what if I do a podcast and I just get a bunch of small YouTubers on it, and that way it's exposure for them, it's exposure for me, and then like we form relationships, and then we do future things together, and like it just keeps building. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this small YouTube podcast thing, and that's where that whole thing came from. It was just a random thought one day.
I love that. And you know what? I always think this too. Sometimes a random thought, when you put a little muscle behind it, can really lead to big changes and just new possibilities. So that's really awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah. That's usually how good things come to pass. They're just random thoughts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
our greatest moments happen from the most random things.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself on YouTube in a year? Besides being in my army.
Yes, besides being like the super warrior. I'm thinking, goals wise, so I'm very goal oriented, so I have to goal speak for the present moment. I'm thinking that with the way that I'm growing, I'm hoping that I would probably be at this time next year. I want to say like 10K subscribers would be awesome, to be able to reach more people, to finally have some recognition around my name. And maybe I'm being a tad selfish, but I think there's maybe some small inkling of every YouTuber wanting to somehow walk outside their home and be recognized by their content, by other people that they've never met before. So it's kind of like oh my gosh, you're Amanda, the Buzz Coach. That's so awesome. I've always wanted to like meet you in person, or you helped me so much. And I've started getting messages here and there from people that have from my subscribers or my viewers who I've never met in my entire life, that would say, hey, I really want to thank you for the message, your honesty, and what you've done to put a new spin on health and mental wellness without making it seem so like overdone and gushy. And I just like to be very honest, and I tend to use a lot of humor, so I want people to not take themselves so seriously. So if I can help more people that way and get them to see that, we are not perfect, but we are beautiful human beings that are just looking to be our best every single day. If I can get them to be like that and to see life as just like, You know, it's a series of tests. It's a way for you to build your own character and be the strongest person you possibly can be. And to look at that and laugh and smile it's a big challenge, but I feel like we'll be all better off for it. So goals wise, a lot more people to reach, and have a lot more people's lives positively impacted.
Well, you say 10,000 by this time next year. I say you'll probably be at like 50,000.
Oh, bless you. Oh, I hope so. I will literally jump and kiss the floor. I would be so incredibly excited, really.
How exactly do you jump and kiss the floor? That seems difficult.
Oh, there's a lot of skills to that. I do a lot of weird things, and I feel like it works.
I think that should be a video right there. Jumping and kissing the floor.
Yes, done. I'm writing that down.
Teach people that trick.
Yes. But I hope so. I hope the 50K would be, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. And now that I'm thinking about it too, it would be cool to, because I do have a business that does revolve around my brand. So to be able to help more people and to sustain this lifestyle so that I can keep helping more people would be really great, because and I guess we both know it's like it is very hard to break into YouTube and to get your voice recognized, and like you mentioned, even in Facebook groups, it's very hard to get your voice heard amongst the noise. So it's to be able to break into that space, to be able to make an impact, and to be supported enough, by some sort of monetization of some sort to help you keep doing what you're doing and to live that message it would be such a really cool thing to happen. It really would.
Yeah. Now just think, like, if you're here's a scenario for you. You're walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going somewhere, just a normal day, and then someone stops you and say, "Hey, I know who you are," and they tell you that they're subscribed to your channel. Like,
oh my gosh,
how do you feel that day?
Oh my goodness. I would have a mix of emotions, to be honest. So, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this as, someone who does skits and is a creator. I feel like I go into a different, frame of mind, a different headspace when I'm being a creator. I feel like I kind of I'm behind my computer. I feel like I'm being my authentic self without no judgment, and whatever goes online, whatever. You don't really think about the actual people physically sitting on a chair or couch watching what you're making in front of them, and to be able to get them to come back to you physically and say, "Hey, that was really cool." I would have, I guess my intense reaction would be embarrassment, because I would think, "Oh my gosh, you watched my channel. Oh no, I'm so sorry if I in some way made you feel like I was weird or something." But then immediately after that, I would feel kind of like an awe of I can't believe you watched my stuff. Thank you so much for coming up to me and telling me that, because that means a lot to me. So there's a lot of intense emotions for me when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I can't even imagine somebody that is within my relative distance that would recognize me and then say something about it. And if it were to happen, I would feel like, oh my gosh, it's happening. It's happening. They recognize me now. And it would just be a lot of feels happening, but of gratitude, I think, would be the ultimate feeling of, my goodness, thank you. Thank you so much for believing in what I do, and for making me feel like whatever I am putting out into the world is somehow worth it. At least it's made an impact on you. If it just made you laugh, I mean, hey, I'm the happiest girl alive.
Now, I personally, since I have more than one channel, if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, I like your videos," on my main channel,
yeah.
Okay, I would lose my mind for that. But for some reason, this channel, the podcast channel, if someone told me that they like my videos on that, I'd probably lose my mind even more, because it's literally like an hour of video. Like each video is an hour,
right,
and it's just me talking. There's no video like to watch. Like you can literally just turn this on and go about your day and just listen to it.
right, right.
So like,
It's like you meet your super fans.
yeah, so like somebody's listening to me for an hour a week. Like
Exactly.
that, I don't know what I'd do for that. Like if this channel blows up someday like that, because I've only been doing the podcast for like 2 months now.
Yeah.
So like if this were to blow up like that, man, I'd probably invest. As soon as someone's like, "Hey, I love your podcast," I'm like, "Really?" I would invest in like studio space and headsets.
And isn't that crazy though? Because, and I feel the same way too. And, you know, I will say this, and I was doing a little bit of research into, you know, like what podcasts you've hosted in the past. And I want to say this, you know, I do try to do a lot of research and, reading up on what's new and great with podcasting and with YouTubing and strategies and whatnot. And I found that the people you've brought in had a lot of really great insight that I feel only small YouTubers understand and get. Because if you listen to podcasts that are a lot more popular, you're going to get a lot of people that are already making it so big and they don't quite remember how they got there in some like little ways. You know, what exactly did they do to promote? What exactly they did to get the recognition they do today. So to be able to have your podcast, where you get creators that are just, you know, about to hit, you know, their peak, or rather like they're just getting their feet wet and they're really starting to grow, to be able to get them at that point, I think is so invaluable for anybody else that's trying to grow a channel or just trying to find hope in this YouTube space, honestly. So I really do see there's a lot of potential with your podcast, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, if it really starts to hit big, because a lot of small YouTubers need this, you know? So I wanted to say thank you for putting all this effort into making that available for us. I think that's really awesome.
Here's my thing though. It's like signing your soul away on YouTube to be on my podcast. Because once you're on my podcast and you're like being who you are and actually being yourself on my podcast, in the future, when you get big and like say you get a big head and become a different person, somebody's gonna bring you back down because they're gonna point out this podcast to you and be like, "Hey,
exactly.
Remember 4 years ago when you were on this guy's podcast?
Remember how awkward you were and didn't know how to like talk on a podcast?"
This is the real you. This is the real you. So why are you pretending to be that person?
Exactly. And you know what? I think in the span of the YouTube hemisphere, there should be a good checks and balances. You know, there should be somebody that's telling the people that just get way over their head about stuff like, "Hey, you know what? It's good to have your dreams come true and to feel so amazing about it, but it's quite another to not look at people the same way ever again because, you know, you're so big now." So I feel like it's good to have wake-up calls. It's good to feel grounded and to have people keep you grounded and, you know, and keep you motivated, of course, but, you know, not to be a jerk or anything like that.
Yeah, there's
absolutely.
There's a lot of big YouTubers now who probably forgot who they ever used to be in life.
Yeah.
And like,
and it's unfortunate.
All their old videos and stuff, like when they first started off, they probably deleted those off their channel so long ago.
Yeah.
So like, you can't even look back and like remember who they used to be because they already erased that from their channel.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, that does make me really sad because sometimes I just want to relate to them on that level of how bad were their first videos. Are they just as bad as mine were? Because I mean, I don't know about you, AJ, but my first videos, and I think I still have them public, so y'all go check it out. They are pretty bad. Like the acting is horrible. My editing is off. Like, there's just weird, awkward pauses. And it just makes me cringe. But sometimes I feel like I need to revisit those every once in a while to see how far I've actually come. And it does make me feel, I guess, better about myself that I came so far in what it is that I'm doing here. So.
Well, I'm not even gonna lie. Last night, I was thinking about starting vlogging again because I stopped for a while. So last night I was just sitting there and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go through my old playlist and watch a bunch of my old vlogs. So like I have that there. So whenever I decide like I want to do this, I can look back and see how I used to do it. And then maybe switch it up a little bit, or like it's good to go back to reference old things. And then I don't know about you, but whenever I find a new channel or something, the first thing I do is I go to their videos, and then I go up in the corner and I click oldest videos, and then I check out all their first videos.
All right, I like that. That's a good idea, actually. I don't do that, but I think I will from now on.
Yeah, because I usually find one of their newer videos, because that's how I find their channel. And then I'm like, okay, I like your videos, but I want to see how you started off.
Right, exactly.
I want to see what you used to do.
I want to see where you came from.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, I think I'm going to start doing that now. I've started, every time I bump into a new channel, I get so sort of like mini obsessed with that channel, so I'll start to kind of binge watch all their stuff. And of course, this is the YouTube algorithm working at its finest. But now I feel like I need to do the old videos, because in my mind it'll be like, oh, they are human. They got big, but this is how they started. This is what I need to do. So I totally would be doing that from now on for sure.
Yeah, it's like a new TV show. Like, say you're watching TV one day and you come across a cool show, and like, man, this show is funny. And then you like go on Netflix and you're like, oh crap, the whole series of this show is on Netflix. I'm gonna start from the beginning. And then you start from the beginning.
Oh, it's a fantastic voyage, I'm telling you.
Exactly.
The one person that I drew a lot of influence from. So there are some big YouTubers that I hold in very high regard, and kind of base my material in terms of how my cadence and my editing is around how these channels do it. So it's funny that you mentioned, when you get onto a new channel, you like to kind of see their beginning content. One thing that I've started to do, which I thought was very helpful for me, is if I like somebody's video, I try to pay attention to what it is that they did in that video that made me really like it, subconsciously speaking. So if I clicked on this video because the thumbnail was really colorful, I'll take note of that, and I'll look at the video, and if the editing is done in a really fast-paced, like comedic tone, I'll take note of that and try to incorporate aspects of that into my videos. So Shane Dawson, Garrett Watts, and I think there's one more person, I can't think of him right now, but those two YouTubers, are you familiar with those two YouTubers? Yeah, they're probably one of my favorites, because they are just one of the funniest people that I've encountered, and I feel like they have some sort of authenticity they still bring to the table, despite the fact of being big names. So they do a lot of good editing. They do a lot of I've started to do these things where I will do like a lot of B-roll cuts, and for anyone who doesn't know what B-roll is, it's you film your first line of shots that you need to do for your movie or for your film or video, and then you go back in and do filler shots of something else that's happening around the scene or around the area, and that's called your B-roll. So I started using more B-roll and incorporating that in a comedic way, and kind of doing like very fast edits, fast cuts, sound effects. The use of sound effects blew my mind. The amount of times that we subconsciously will look at a video and really like it, a lot of it has to do with how they did their sound engineering, aka what sound effects they use and where they put it and how they filtered it to make it sound the way it needed to sound. So I started taking sound effects a lot more seriously as well in my newer videos, and I think I'm going to keep that up from now on. it totally changes the game. I don't know if you've ever noticed anything like that, AJ.
Yeah, I noticed like that. But, like, people, when you do things like that, it takes way more effort.
Oh, yes. Yes, it does.
Like,
yes, it does.
you gotta be seriously motivated if you're gonna, like, that's like pretty much making a movie for YouTube.
Yes. Yeah, disclaimer, this will take over your entire life, but you'll get hilarious movies.
It will take over, like, so much of your time, but if you do it,
Yes.
if you do it correctly, like, even if, like, no one else sees it, like, when I do things like that, like, I just feel proud of myself for like a week.
Yes, exactly. There's no recognition required. It's out there, and in some way, you just give yourself a high five, like, good for you. I did that. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
like recently, I did like a trailer, like kind of a trailer. It's basically a trailer, but it's like for Black Panther, but it's like the villain of Black Panther, who's Killmonger. I like did like Killmonger Returns. So like I was
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I was doing like trying to do like aerial shots and like woodsy shots and like shots where the camera's on the ground and you got the view like looking up of a person, like. And then I also incorporated a bunch of things from other movies that had nothing to do with that movie at all. But
Yes. Very important.
I spliced it together, I think, kind of nicely. Like,
I gotta check this out now.
yeah. When I do movie trailers every once in a while, and I try and switch them up. Like one time, I even did like a video game movie trailer where I was playing a video game, but like. I did it like the video game was the actual movie. So like everything I'm doing in the video game is the trailer.
Okay, gotcha. That's pretty meta. I like that. That's really cool.
I always come up with some weird ideas, but one day they'll pan out.
But they're so watchable.
Yeah.
I love that though.
Yeah. One day they'll pan out and people actually start watching these things and they'll be like, wow, I didn't even know this guy existed. Where did all these videos come from?
Exactly.
Because, like, seriously.
Exactly, and then they'll just binge watch everything.
Yeah, on my main channel alone, there's like almost 500 videos that I've done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. And you said you had that for 2 years?
Yeah, I've been busy.
Whoa. Yeah, that's a lot of videos. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Now, I would say that's a lot of videos, but I also have 3 other channels that I've I've also posted videos on, so I probably have like close to 800 videos that I've done in the last 2 years.
Good Lord. Hey, man, you know what? If it's working for you, do you have enough sleep? Do you have enough time in your day to, like, live your life and not have to, like, produce videos for all your channels? Are you, like, balancing your life okay?
Actually, I do. At first, I didn't, because, you know, I had to balance between work and home life, and I got a kid, and, you know.
Right.
I had to balance between all that, and then I decided, because I had 4 or 5 channels at one time that for some reason I was trying to run all at the same time.
Full steam ahead.
It was kind of dumb at the moment, but then I decided one day on my main channel, like, instead of separating all these right now while I'm still super small, like, I can keep those channels open and what's on them right now is just on them, and then focus on my main channel. And then put all this content that I'm putting on these different channels on my main channel. And then, like, as I get bigger, like, I can start splitting them up. Like, hey, guys, if you want to see just gaming, because you know how you get fans that just want to see, like, one genre of your videos.
Right.
Like, if you want to see just gaming, I got a gaming channel now. Go check it out. And then I'll just start separating them like that as I get bigger. But yeah,
Gotcha.
When I tried to do them all at one time, like all of the channels, I almost killed myself. So.
Oh my God, I don't blame, dude. That's a huge undertaking. And you know what? I have seen this before too. Like what you're mentioning, going from like an authority kind of channel where you have everything and anything in there that you like to do, and then niching it down into its various sub channels. So yeah, doing a gaming one or doing a dedicated lifestyle one or dedicated vlog one. I have definitely seen that before. So hey, I think it's worked for other people. It could definitely work for sure. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I do actually manage another YouTube channel as well, which is like a painting tutorial one. So I totally understand where you're coming from, that it's a huge time it's a huge time commitment to have to not only manage one channel, but to manage like 2, 3, 4 channels. My God, you got to be like Superman to have the time, the dedication, the scheduling to be able to come up with video ideas. Like it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm tipping my hat to you as we speak on that.
It's funny that you mentioned Superman because that's actually one of my nicknames.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
And,
I also read mine, so
and mostly all my videos, I'm probably wearing a Superman shirt or a Superman hat. So
I must have subconsciously picked up on that when I was maybe I was looking through some some content, and I think I may have like picked up on a Superman shirt, and it just popped in my mind right as we were speaking. So there we go.
Yeah.
Subconscious branding. You did very good with that.
So like I was trying to think when I was starting to mention my channels. I have Spade Life Vlogs, which is in the future going to be dedicated strictly to vlogs.
Right.
I have Spade Life Gaming, which obviously is going to be dedicated to gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I have the podcast now, which before this was my podcast channel, I was actually going to do like a creepypasta channel.
Oh my gosh, I would totally like binge on everything with creepypasta. I freaking love that stuff.
Because I have some videos on my main channel where like I was reading other people's creepypasta, and then I have some where I was kind of creating my own.
Oh my goodness.
So I have some of that up there, but I stopped doing the creepypasta channel, and that became the podcast channel. And then I have a fitness channel, which I'm not even sure if that's still up, but I was gonna try and do that, but
my goodness, yeah, you've been busy.
And then I have my main channel, of course.
Oh my gosh,
which
that's crazy.
In the long run, I'm hoping once I spread all those out, that my main channel is mostly like skits.
Right. And have you, I guess, ever considered, so when we get, bigger and we have more of that ability to branch out our channels and to put different content in those particular channels, and I've thought about this too for my stuff, but would you then like look into hiring a team of people to kind of help you with the editing process? Because I'm sure to be able to handle all those channels and to create content and edit that content it takes a lifetime. I'm fairly certain to do that. without a team of people to help you.
I told you I'm creating an army.
Oh, there's that army. Gotcha. Okay. So there's no physical fighting. It's just going to be like all this other like YouTube tomfoolery.
We're taking over.
All about it.
We're taking over with our minds instead of our fist.
Yes, I'm all about that. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We're gonna take them by storm. Use our intellect.
Ooh, I like using my intellect. I'm down. Absolutely.
Yeah. Here's the thing with like recruiting small YouTubers. Like, you talk to them and you're like, hey, we should do future projects together and stuff. And a lot of people agree, but then they don't like follow up or follow through.
Right.
because they're small too, so they're like, I don't know how much effort I want to put into another project when my current project hasn't really taken off yet. So
right, or it could even be like a time issue too. At least that's kind of what I'm thinking might be another issue as well.
Yeah.
But I know when it comes to the YouTube space, being able to collaborate and to include other YouTubers around you, I mean, that's really the whole premise behind YouTube, right? It's to create, and it's to also just have fun with your fellow people around you. And I think sometimes that message can get lost with the whole YouTube monetization and the apocalypse and everybody just being all up in arms about all that happening. And I think we all forgot the general message that, hey, we're all here for each other. Let's just have fun, create, and bring it to the world. I mean, that's really the whole basis behind YouTube.
Yeah. Now, okay, the whole like censoring type stuff on YouTube, like,
right,
it's kind of annoying. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
There's people that I used to watch, and like, you don't even notice that they're cursing or saying weird stuff because you find it like so entertaining, and it's like, now those people have to censor themselves just to get ads on their video so they can get paid. Like, why don't you, like, when you make a channel, one of the things on your channel should be, this content is for children or this content is for older people.
Right, kind of having some sort of like differentiation, like almost like, what do you call it in television when you get the guide markers on front of a show that tell you, oh, this is PG-14, or you shouldn't be watching this if you're this age.
Like the rating system.
Thank you. Yes, I can't speak today, as you can tell. So, yes, the rating system. I think maybe that's going to be the next step, because you're right. It is quite silly to have to censor yourself and really not express yourself the way you would really want to in real life, because it interferes with how you're going to get paid. I mean, I do, and you're right too. Like I mentioned, Shane Dawson, and he's one of my primary people that I really hold in high regard. And forget it, that guy just he's a very foul mouthed, and to me, I find that's funny, and I'm not offended by it at all. But now that all the kind of the gauntlet was set down for advertisers and monetization, I do notice that he's kind of taken out a lot of the major swear words, and he sprinkles them in now and then, but it's not fully there anymore, and I can tell, and it's not really him fully expressing himself. So it is a really interesting topic, and I've gotten into quite a few conversations about this with different types of people, and it's interesting to see. Everyone has a different opinion about it. Some people are all for the censorship, and there's others that are dead set against it. And I feel that if I had to roll my dice and land it on a square of some sort in between, like 1 to 10, 1 being I'm all about it, I'm all about censorship, and 10 being I'm dead set against it, I would say I'd probably land on a 6 or a 7. So I get YouTube is, in a way, it's a business. They are trying to make this platform free and available to all their creators. I get that. That's cool. But the censoring part of it all, like if I have to not say what I really want to say, then that can have its own issues. And if you're stifling voices because they're afraid they're not going to be able to be paid and can't continue making videos for their audience that loves them, then that's a problem as well. So it's a tough nut to crack. It's tough to see how this is all really going to shake out, how to maintain your authenticity, but then be paid at the same time for it, once you get pretty big and do ad monetizations.
I hope I'm using this word correctly, but they're kind of cuckolding a lot of...
Oh my gosh, yes!
So I used the word correctly. Yay for me.
Because it's the perfect way to well, it's a perfect way to see that's what's really happening. I mean, the way you said it, I just like, it made the click for me. Like, oh, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like they're kind of cuckolding a lot of like YouTubers, so they're kind of stopping them from being the creator that they might want to be or who they actually are. So they gotta kind of dull themselves down and pretend to be something else.
Exactly.
It's kind of,
and that's not a good thing.
It's kind of like you're watering down your drink, and
yes,
like you want to get drunk, but you can't because there's children around, so you gotta water down your drink.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't want to go on like a swearing bender because that just wouldn't look appetizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's
like,
sad.
Sometimes that's the funny part of the party.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I know. Tell me about it. I love. I mean, if anything, if I were to pin myself as that friend, I am that friend. Sometimes I just will just say what I gotta say, you know, swearing wise, and I find that it livens up the party, and it really does make it funnier in some odd way. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, for sure.
That's like them censoring someone who gives ads. Okay, Hulu. Hulu is a company ran by ads.
Right.
Like, in between all their shows, there's ads, plenty of ads. That's how they get paid. So
right.
That's kind of like YouTube. So like you can't. Okay, there's TV shows that are like kiddie happy TV shows, and then there's adult TV shows, and they all have ads in between them, and they run perfectly fine. That's exactly how YouTube should be. Like you have your kiddie YouTube channels, and you have adult YouTube channels. Like everybody who gets on YouTube is not trying to have a children's audience.
Right, exactly. Like, they don't really choose the people that watch them.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people who like are big YouTubers that like I'll throw out some names. They got like DMB Nation or CJ So Cool and those type of people who majority of their fans are children. But if you look at their content, like your fans should not be children.
Oh my gosh, I know. That scares me to actually see that. You know, I can't even imagine, you know, potentially when we have our own children that they're watching, like, and I love Shane Dawson, but to have them watch a Shane Dawson video, I'd be like, please turn that off. I don't think you should be watching that. That's not appropriate for your age level. But yeah, I know you're totally right though, because you're right. Even Netflix has that feature too, where you can go do like a kids section, and then you can watch all the, you know, the more raunchier, you know, swear word laden shows that they put out, and you know they're both really great in their own right. But if you're not the right audience for that, you're not going to get the right kind of content for you. And maybe that's the other issue. Maybe there's not all the right, well, rather, so the advertisers that YouTube has, I'm sure it's, you know, I've seen advertising for, you know, movie commercials and surveys and for, you know, like beauty products and all that kind of stuff. But maybe down the line we'll probably get more advertisers that span more, I guess, other types of content that allow for the more adult version content to be paired with, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Like, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say, like, advertisers. You have, like beer advertisers and, like, other adult thing advertisers. And, like, I'm pretty sure these people wouldn't mind putting their ads on YouTube. And, like, you can cater those to the adult channels. Like, the channels, like, how okay, Netflix, you have the kids profile. Like my son, he has his own profile on my Netflix where it's literally just kid videos, like nothing but kid stuff.
Right.
Like if someone signs up to YouTube to watch videos, they make their profile or whatever, and then they put in their age, those are the videos that should come to them. Like, they shouldn't get a Viagra prank like on their channel. Like, they should be getting little kitty stuff, like unboxings and happy stuff like that. Like,
and I totally would agree with that. Absolutely.
That can't be that hard of an algorithm to design to come up on YouTube.
Yeah, and you know what? I think maybe that is in the works. Maybe something like that is happening. But I also feel like the as a result of the whole adpocalypse and the push for 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch time hours, and the slowness of the application process. I'm sure you must have heard of all about that drama.
Yeah.
But I know YouTube is in that point where they just don't have enough hands to make the process, or at least that's what they're saying. They don't have enough heads to make this process even more expedient to get people approved so that they can start monetizing their channels. I'm not really sure what's going on with those guys. I kind of feel like they're not really letting on as to what's really happening behind the scenes. They're just kind of giving you like little snippets and trying to calm the crowds of angry people or of curious people. Hey, what's going on with my application? But I'm crossing my fingers. I always like to be positive when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I'm really hoping that they're looking into that kind of alternative. Hey, what are competitors like Netflix and Hulu doing? They have kid profiles. Why can't we do something like that? At least it's not going to turn people away from YouTube, because that might be the other thing. It's if YouTube is not going to help their creators, people are eventually going to leave. So if they can find ways to keep people on their platform for years and years and years to come, maybe that's one of the steps they should really consider.
Well, everybody on YouTube can't be all PG-13, because honestly, after a while, that would get super boring.
Yeah, of course.
So everyone can't be PG-13, and I feel like YouTube needs an idea man. They need somebody who's at the top who is throwing out ideas for them to like make come to fruition. Like, they need a Kevin Feige of the YouTube universe.
Yeah, tell me about it.
They need their Marvel universe, but they need it for YouTube.
That's awesome.
Like, I will be the Thanos, and I will bring my army to YouTube, and we will reshape YouTube with my Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh my gosh, yes. Wait, are we Thanos in this case? Because I would seriously reconsider rebranding that.
Why? Thanos is awesome.
Okay, well, we'll assume that this Thanos has like super awesome intentions and is not going to wipe out the entirety of YouTube population. We'll go with that. We'll be a good army. We'll have good things.
Only half of the YouTube universe.
Oh, thank you for the correction. Thank you.
You don't wipe out the whole
Infinity
thing.
Wars.
Yeah, you don't wipe out the whole universe. Only half of it.
Gotcha. Are you a big Marvel fan, or?
Yeah, I am.
Did you watch the Infinity Wars?
I sure did the first day it came out.
Oh my goodness. I was very surprised. I don't want to do any spoil. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody else who hasn't watched it yet, but go watch it. It is fantastic. I watched only half the Marvel movies that are out there, and I enjoyed the crap out of them.
Yeah. It was a emotional roller coaster.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I came out of the theater very like, my goodness, what now? What's going to happen now?
I mean, but it tells you like, okay, this is how villains should be now. Like, you have...
Yes.
They started off and they killed it with Killmonger, and it was like, there you go. There's a villain. And then, well, okay, I even say they started off with Loki, but Loki's kind of an anti-hero. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. Like,
and there's that whole theory about how everyone especially women, love Loki because he's just like that anti-hero bad boy who just wants, you know, the good things in life to happen for him and all that. So
yeah,
he's quite the spectacle.
So they killed it with Killmonger within his name, but
indeed.
And then they threw Thanos at you, and they're like, "Here's this guy. You've been waiting for him for this long. We gave you a story behind this guy, and here it is." So like,
right.
Whoever comes out with another superhero movie and you have a villain in it, if it's not to those standards, then you might as well just keep that villain in your pocket.
I agree, and honestly, the way that they depicted Thanos, obviously, all the other Marvel movies that had him appearing in it for a brief amount of time, there wasn't much substance to him. But with this movie, I did find that my goodness, he had so many conflicts, and he did have some. I did understand his reasonings for wanting to do what he wanted to do, and even though it was, like, obviously it's not a good thing, I understood why he would feel motivated to do what he did and to kind of internally struggle with him and see that struggle. And that, to me, is what I feel a true villain is. It's a multi-dimensional character. It's not a one-sided, like brain, like train robbing, like one-dimensional characters. He had so much substance, and it just, you felt with him while things were happening with him as well. So I was a big fan of him as a villain, for sure. Yeah.
I want to kind of brand myself now. Do I want to be YouTube's villain or YouTube's hero?
We'll just be the army. Just and let people, let the cards fall where they may. We'll be the army, and we'll go from there.
Well, we're the army in... You join us or die. No.
You're not helping me with the branding, AJ. Come on now. Oh my goodness.
We're the neutral army. We're not good, and we're not bad, but don't get in our way, or we'll kill you.
Yeah. We'll work on the slogan. I think we'll have to muscle that one through a little bit. Brainstorming more.
I got a feeling in my slogan, you're gonna make me take out, or we'll kill you. I just feel like that part's gonna be edited out.
Yeah, I have an inkling that might happen. Actually, yeah.
Darn, that was the best part of my slogan. I felt.
Oh man, I know, it's okay. First tries they always feel like they're the best, but we can muscle it through. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All jokes aside, like I seriously would like to form my own YouTube group. Can I do that? Can I do that?
Yeah, you can do anything. Come on. Of course you can.
I think how do I do this? Maybe I'll go on Facebook and actually create a group. And then the people that I've recruited, I'll invite to the group. That way we could all mix and match. And then as I interview more people and invite more people to the group, the army forms.
There you go. And the swarm begins. Yes. And I think that's exactly how a lot of YouTube groups begin. It's just that one person is like, I'm going to do this. And then they did it.
That's I never thought about that. Let's put them all in a group and then make them fight. No.
And we're back to the fighting. All right.
It all goes right back to it every time. Let's put them all in a group and then let's pick all their brains and come up with ideas and then start making videos together and then throw weapons in there and see who lasts the longest.
Yeah. And see what happens. You just never know what happens in a group of YouTubers with weapons.
It starts off good with good intentions, and then I throw weapons in there and see who survives.
Well, it'll be like a Hunger Games kind of style. Like, okay, whoever can like survive these next X amount of days will then be in my ultimate YouTube army, and we will dominate. It should be like a selection process, just get the cream of the crop in there.
I call it the Spade Life Games.
Ooh, all right.
I sit upon my throne with my Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh my goodness! All you have to do is just snap your fingers, and it all happens.
Yeah, now fight.
Now fight.
Becomes the new Mortal Kombat.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine? That would be hilarious. Actually, like a funny YouTube video idea.
Tournament.
Just like YouTuber on YouTuber. You say user specific like niche powers that they use on their channels. Like I can use the power of my awkward comedy routines versus somebody who's like, I don't know, teaches like how to bake a cake, and then we try to like compete against each other and see who wins at the end. I feel like I'd probably lose out. That cakes are way too delicious for me to, not take.
Can you imagine? Okay, I just thought of another brilliant idea because for some reason I'm a genius today.
Of course, because you were talking to me, that's why.
Can you imagine, like, you have a group of YouTubers. They don't all specifically do the same thing. Like, you have groups, like the Vlog Squad that all do vlogs, and the Prank Squad who all do pranks, and Team 10 who are assholes. But like you have groups that do like specific things. What if you had a YouTube group who they basically all do different things, but like you subscribe to them and you don't even know like all these people are like in the same group kinda, and then like once a month or so they all get together in one place, and like on all their channels you just see like the same like content. It's like a tournament like each month of all these YouTubers, and it's like just a competition between all of them each month on their videos. Like you didn't even know these people, their channels pretty much have nothing to do with each other, but like once a month or once every other month they like have a big tournament. They all get together and boom, just massive content.
That is actually pretty interesting. Kind of like I always think of the mashups I used to watch, like the Jetsons meet the Flintstones, like these two really opposite families that have two different time frames compiling together, and I used to love watching that as a kid, just seeing all their personalities and characteristics play with each other. I can definitely see that, and that's why people love collaborations, right? Yeah. They just love to see these two characters meeting with each other and interacting with one another.
You can even call it like the YouTube mashup.
Yes.
And that's copyrighted, guys. Cool. That's copyrighted. Don't steal my idea.
No, it's fine. I'm a warrior in the army, so I technically am under your brand, I suppose.
Well, I'm talking to all those other guys out there. Don't steal my idea. YouTube mashup is mine and my armies.
You heard it here first, folks. TM, trademark. Don't do it.
Yeah. Leave it alone. But yeah, that sounds I got a lot of ideas, man.
Yeah, you gotta write it all down, because I know I forget all my ideas the second I think about them.
You know what's funny?
Writing it down and acting on it.
You know what's funny? I actually walk around half the time with a notebook of all my ideas.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I should
write that down.
I even wrote on the front of the notebook. It just says ideas.
That's awesome.
It's my
That's the way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way I can keep track.
At the moment, I just use my phone, but I really should invest in getting like a dedicated notebook instead of scribbling it in random pieces of like edges of paper and tearing it out and being messy like that. Good idea.
Yeah, notebooks work.
Absolutely.
I learned that from Blue's Clues. You gotta get a notebook.
The handy dandy notebook. Yes, you have a big blue crayon that you use to write all your ideas down.
Except my crayon's purple. I have a big purple crayon.
Dude, purple is the best color ever. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I'm booping a little bit.
You're what?
Sometimes when you're talking to people on Facebook, it starts to I don't know if it loses signal or whatever. It does a weird booping noise.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, you'll hear it when you listen to yourself on this podcast. It's towards this time because it just happened 2 seconds ago.
Well, I transcended time during that booping period. That's probably what happened.
It's like the cut of a segment and you're to another segment. You had a weird booping to get you there.
It was my boop period. I was going through a tough time there, but I'm back. We're good now.
Yeah, it was a boop period when we invited Betty Boop and she came in and did a medley.
Oh my gosh. So Betty Boop, she always kind of freaked me out when I was a kid because she just looked like a little baby. She just had these big doll-like eyes and everything was just so baby about her. But then she's dressed like a hoe, and I'm I don't understand, what are you? What are you? And ever since then, I never bothered to look it up and research it or understand it. I just kind of formed this, idea of what this is, freaked out by it, and never wanted to approach that ever again in my life. But what is Betty Boop? What the hell is that?
I kind of picture it in my head as Betty Boop's just a normal lady, and she has a mascot head on her head. Cause that's a pretty big head. Her head's massive, and her body's all skinny. So it's just a normal lady who has a mannequin head on her head.
That makes a lot more sense. It's structurally a lot more adequate because you can't have little legs like that and a big old head. You're just going to tip over.
Yeah, you'll just be dragging that thing.
Excuse me while I pick up my head that I've been dragging. Excuse me.
Hey, you want to come hang out with me later? Sure, let me grab my head wagon so I can pull my head along.
Just stuff your head in a wheelbarrow and just go to your friend's house. Oh my god.
That's how it works when your head's that big.
Gotcha. Well, alright, I guess that's Betty Boop then. Research over. Done.
Betty Boop's either a big... Well, that's why she's always laying down most of the time.
She can't even get up.
Yeah, her head's too heavy. What if
it makes sense now.
What if we're laughing at Betty Boop and she has some kind of terrible cranium disease where...
Oh, no, hush.
Her head... No. What if she's
let's keep the mascot head thing.
She's like the elephant man now.
Oh my god.
She has elephantitis of the head.
Oh my lord. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine all these years I've just been ew, Betty Boop, what's your deal, man? And she's like, listen, it's a disease. I can't help it. Why do you gotta be like that, man? And I'll just feel like a complete piece of shit for the rest of my life.
You just got shamed by Betty Boop.
Yeah, she's definitely the better person, such a nice, non-judgmental person. Me, I'm just you're gross. What are you?
She donates to charity. She's trying to make her own charity to fight the disease that she currently has.
Oh my god, I'm feeling worse and worse about what I said earlier about Betty Boop now. Oh my god.
They make Betty Boop warrior shirts, and you're over here talking about her head size.
Oh my god! If I made a Betty Boop shield because her head is so big, I could just her head is the shield, and that would be my protection. It's her head is so big it can deflect all the badness away. So she's helping me, I guess, in that respect. In our YouTube army, I will have a Betty Boop shield. Right. I think it's going to happen now. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first and foremost. I'm going to be getting me a shield with Betty Boop's head on it. The elephantitis filled head. So
you should also during deep battle scenes have a Betty Boop mask.
Oh my god, yes. Should I do that, like, Betty Boop song thing that she, like, I barely know anything about this chick, but all I know is that she just says boop, boop, boop all the time, which freaks me out anyways, but would that be, like, my battle cry? I'd just be like, boop, 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 and then I would do what I gotta do.
When things hit your shield, they go boop, boop, boop.
Beep, boop, beep.
That's the sound that your shield makes every time things hit it.
Yes. Oh, I like this. We're coming up with so many great ideas. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. In the future, I'm pretty sure we'll come up with a lot more great ideas.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that for sure. Betty Boop, probably. Yeah, more Betty Boop stuff, I'm sure.
I don't wanna cut off all this greatness and great ideas, but we are over our hour.
What?
Yeah.
Holy crap! We've been talking for like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, we're up there.
Goodness gracious!
But
it felt like yesterday we were just saying hello.
But at this point of the podcast, we're gonna turn it over to you so you can give us all your social media and where we can find you.
Yes. Okay. So y'all can find me on YouTube as Amanda Rinaldi. That's Rinaldi. I am known as the Buzzed Coach. And you can also find me on Facebook as the Buzzed Coach. And you can find me on Instagram as Amanda_Rinaldi. So I think those are all the big platforms that I'm on. Yeah, you'll find me there.
Yeah, and soon you'll find her in most of my descriptions as part of my YouTube army.
YouTube army, my Betty Boop shield. You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
But can't wait.
It was great talking to you. I really enjoyed it.
It was great talking to you too. This was a lot of fun, and thank you for, I guess, putting me on my first ever podcast and giving me this opportunity. I really do appreciate it.
This will be the first of many times of us talking, I'm sure.
Whoop, whoop. Do it. Oh, is that your daughter?
No, it's my son.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. He came in at the end of the podcast to put his little stamp on it.
Yes, I love that. Yay!
But yeah, that's the end of the podcast, and thank you for listening. And like always, I'll catch you all on the flip side, 'cause I'm out.